Ladies and gentlemen, we are today's entertainment. Wait, wrong movie. Hello there. I am. This is Brit and Jacob Go to the Movies. I'm Britton,
I'm Jacob.
and today we are continuing our Black History Month a-thon. That's a good way to put it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're doing a video on we're doing a series of Black History Month. We're talking about movies that are about the African American experience. And today we're going to be talking about my favorite movie of 2016, and the Oscar film that actually deserved the praise for once. I mean, can you believe that? Can you believe that, Jacob?
It's surreal. It's unreal.
I know, it's crazy. Anyways, it's called Moonlight. Oh man, I didn't know really what to expect with this movie. This film is in my opinion, very good. Might even dare say it's a masterpiece.
I haven't heard anything about it when it was released. I saw Chris Stuckman reviewing it. I was like, Moonlight? What is that about? Then I watched his review and he said it was like a masterpiece. I was like, ooh, I gotta check it out. I actually didn't check it out when it was released. I checked it out around 2018. It was on Netflix and I watched it and I was floored by it.
Yeah, I mean, I was mesmerized by this film, and of course, I mean, this isn't a movie I would normally watch. I mean, it's a film. I mean, not that I don't like movies about black people or anything. I mean, there's plenty of great films with black people in it, and there's plenty of great films about black people. We talked about one last week with Get Out. Uh, But Moonlight, I usually don't watch movies like these. I don't watch these kind of. I don't really know even what to call this movie. It's kind of a comedy, or not a comedy. It's not a comedy. It's kind of a drama, coming of age, romance kind of a movie.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But this is a phenomenal movie. I love this film. Let's just get our blurb thoughts out of the way. I love this film. I saw a couple of trailers. I'm like, it looks kind of well shot, but it could be interesting. I saw it and I was blown away by it. I just the way this film tells its story, and just how unexpected this movie hit me on a very emotional level. And I like that this isn't just a African American centric story. This is a story that anybody can relate to. What do you think, Jacob?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Moonlight is it's such an emotionally raw movie. Like, to me, it doesn't feel scripted. It feels real. Like, this film is a masterwork. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is a hard-edged yet beautifully made story about a black African American dealing with his sexuality in a sometimes unforgiving and violent world. And Barry Jenkins did a phenomenal job directing this. The cinematography is outstanding. The performance is all around triumphant. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a masterpiece.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Jacob, to use your wording here. I mean, this movie is just, it hit me emotionally in a way that I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And it's like, it's about this kid who just feels like he's an outsider. And, I mean, I'm not gay, but I do understand the feeling of being ostracized because you're different and you don't fit into the way people expect you to. Now, of course, I'm not getting, attacked by bullies and my mom, wailing on me because she thinks I'm a faggot. I apologize for using that word, but, that's used in the movie. But I do understand in some ways. Again, I don't think this is merely an African American movie. I think this is a universal story.
Oh yeah, I strongly agree. Anybody can relate to this film, and these type of films, like centered around a character who's like going through this going through this thing in life, like being gay and being black, and feeling different and feeling like an outsider. Like, I understand that. I mean, I'm not gay, but I do understand what it's like to be discriminated or judged or feel like an outsider or a black sheep,
Mm-hmm. And I like how this... Oh, sorry.
This film beautifully tells that, but go ahead.
Also, this is one of the first films where I saw Mahershala Ali, who is quickly going on my list of actors you should pay attention to, because this guy is amazing in this movie.
Yeah, this is the first one I took notice of Mahershala Ali. I was like, this dude's a phenomenal actor. I gotta keep my eye on him.
Yes, I mean, this film is phenomenal, I have to say. And one of those rare films that some might call Oscar bait, but this movie lives up to the hype, people. This is a fantastic film.
Oh, yeah, it does not feel Oscar bait by any means. You can clearly tell that Barry Jenkins had a vision for this, and you can tell that there was a lot of passion helmed with this film.
Oh, yes, apparently it is based on Terrell Alvin McCraney's unpublished semi-autobiographical play, which is called In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. So, in case anyone was curious. That's not funny. But no, this film is fantastic. There's not much else to say.
This is one of those rare movies that I do not have a single issue with it. Like, I can't think of one thing that I do not like about it.
Oh no. And also it's an A24 film, so you know those are gonna be bangers for the most part.
Oh yeah, that's just the cherry on top.
I also love how this film explores not fitting into society, and not just with Chiron, but also with Juan, who's played by Mahershala Ali, but we'll get to that later. But I love this movie. I mean, it's a fantastic film. And again, I don't think this is a movie that is like pandering to black people. I think this is a movie that anybody could get behind. And maybe you've not dealt with the extremes that are in this movie, but maybe you understand the feeling of not feeling quite right. Not like, mentally ill or anything, but don't feel like you're fitting in with society and what they want.
Right.
And this film deals with a lot of issues that befalls the African American community, such as lack of opportunities and, drugs and crime and all of that good stuff. So yeah, very cheerful movie.
Indeed.
No, it's not. Oh man, but this movie is fantastic though. I have to say. I can't really say any more.
Yeah, me either.
You want to get into this, Jacob?
Yes, let's get into this puppy.
Oh boy, so we begin in Miami during the height of the crack epidemic. So this is like 1980s, I think. Early 90s, late 80s, probably.
Yeah.
And we end up meeting this guy called Juan, played by Mahershala Ali, played brilliantly by Mahershala Ali. And he's an Afro-Cuban drug dealer, so that's why he's called Juan, even though he's a black guy. Juan, he's a drug dealer. He's kind of the drug dealer with a heart of gold kind of thing, but it's not super cheesy, Oh, what were we going to say, Jacob?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
He's one of my favorite parts of this movie.
Oh, yeah, Mahershala Ali, he is phenomenal in this film. For me, it's still his best performance he's ever given.
Oh, I agree entirely. I think this, it's such a... I think the best way to describe this movie, it's about people not being who they truly are.
Yeah.
And it's not just in the obvious, Chiron is in this really awful place in life, and he's forced to be something that he's not, a drug dealer. But you also see that with Juan as well, and his girlfriend Teresa, that they are people that they don't really want to be, but because there's just so little opportunity for them, they don't really have much of a choice. And that's really part of the tragedy of this film. What were you saying, Jacob?
Oh yeah, especially in the society we live in today, like people want to see what you want them to be, and seeing Chiron, not just Chiron, but pretty much everybody in the film go through that. It's magnificent.
But he ends up finding little Chiron, or as he's called, Little. This is part 1, called Little. Chiron is called Little. That's why he's called. That's the names are all references to Chiron. Little is what Chiron was called when he's a little kid. Chiron, that's his name, and then Black, that's his name later on. But Chiron is this kind of really lone. You instantly feel bad for this kid because he's so. I really like they just make him this really small, innocent kind of a kid.
Me too. You immediately feel bad for him.
Yeah, and I mean that's a good kid actor, by the way. He's just kind of stands there, and he's not really he doesn't really do much. He's just he's just this little kid, and you're like you want to hug him, and he's really thin, and he has these little these little birdie arms. It's just God. It's this movie's trying to make you feel bad for him.
Oh yeah, and kudos on the kid actor, because I'm usually weary on kid actors, not because of them, but on how directors handle them when they come to the acting. Some kid performances are usually, for me personally, not very good. I've only seen a couple that are really good, but this little kid who plays a young little Chiron, phenomenal. He and no dialogue, very very little dialogue. You just see his facial expressions.
Oh yeah, particularly later when his mom, who by the way is just the worst.
Ooh.
We'll get to that, but oh my god. Yeah, he's so little, or Chiron, or Little as he's called. He's basically hiding out from a group of bullies in a crack house, which talk about one bad situation to another. Jesus, I'm hoping there's no one who's trying to touch him for crack. Jesus. Ugh. Imagine just going to the fucking, at crack house and there's a bunch of homeless people in there. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So, Juan instantly takes pity on this young boy, and he allows Chiron he allows Little to spend the night with him and his girlfriend, Teresa, for the night. And you can also see Juan's character, that he's not really a thug, even though it's kind of the whole thing again, that's kind of the mask he puts on. But that's not really, but it kind of leads into the film's motif or theme of people not being allowed to be who they truly are in the world that they're in.
Right. I also love that this film, it doesn't it's not entirely focused on the African American community, but I love that it plays against stereotypes that people see people as they're known for, oh, he's a thug, so he's a baddie, but no, he's not really a thug.
Yeah, he's not he's a decent man who is trying to make the best out of a horrendous situation.
Yeah, exactly. But in everyone else's eyes, they see him as a thug, and being that he's black, they're oh, he's a bad thug.
Yeah, and they even bring this up later, that he's kind of this, he has this kind of contradictory thing. He wants to be a good person, but he also sells crack, which is a very dangerous job to do, or drug dealing. I had a friend who I know because I've had friends who sold drugs, or not really friends. This is a guy who used to bully me. Fuck him. But seriously, he used to sell drugs. He got pistol whipped one night. So not a fun opportunity. Don't do drugs, kids, and don't deal drugs. Is my point.
Yeah, do not.
So Juan lets Chiron little hang out with him for the night, and he meets his girlfriend Teresa, who's also a very nice lady. And they seem all right. And he ends up returning him to his mother Paula, who, by the way, is just the worst. Maybe I'm probably biased here because I generally don't like people who mistreat kids, but man, this woman is awful.
Oh, the worst.
Oh my God, she's horrendous.
She's like a drug addict. She's not taking care of her kid. Chiron pretty much doesn't have a mother because she's fucked up in the head. She is, as you said, the worst.
She's also just super cruel to him as well.
Just extremely cruel.
Yeah, she's all like, "You're not gonna watch fucking TV?" What? And she's all pissed off because he was worrying her. Well, maybe don't let him wander off. Take care of your kid, you crazy woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy bitch. And one of my favorite shots in the movie is when she's like just shouting at him, and you just see this like little kid, and I love his little expression. He's almost angry and saddened at the same time.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of moments like that in this movie, and I love I love how the film lets you, it settles on the scenery. It like kind of immerses you into the scenery, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean.
Like, he likes to lay on a shot. Like, there's that scene later when him and, his friend Kevin meet each other when they're older, and there's like that shot when he sees him, and they kind of it just sits there. I really like how they do that. Or the scene later when he teaches Chiron how to swim. Stuff like that. This film has a lot of that, and I just love it. I love the photography in this film. It is amazing.
Oh yeah, but kudos to Barry Jenkins because, as you said, he eases into the scenery a lot of times, and it's gorgeous. A lot of moments that we'll get into soon, but it is phenomenal. The photography in this film is gorgeous.
I mean, yeah, the cinematography is just so good, so good. That's probably one of my favorite aspects of this movie. I mean, it is the cinematography, I have to say. I don't know about you, Jacob.
Oh yeah, and it kind of does visual storytelling in certain scenes, which I really admired.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And again, Paula just yells at him, and again, you just feel really bad for this kid.
Yeah, we already felt bad for him, but knowing that his mom's a nut job, we're like, damn, I just want to get this boy a hug.
Exactly. Just like, Jesus Christ. This kid is just getting shit on by everybody. Like what is this? And the only one who's, nice to him is this, drug dealing guy, and he's like, I'll help you. But Chiron's just like, well, fuck this, and decides to continue spending time with Juan. And the friendship they have is, one of the most touching aspects of the movie. At least at this part of the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's only for in the first part of the movie, but it is the fully well realized relationship.
Yeah, it's almost like a father and son relationship, unless you just said that a minute ago.
Oh no, I did not.
Oh. But Juan, despite the fact he is a drug dealer who sells crack to people, isn't an evil person. And again, just kind of goes back to that, the film's theme of kind of forcing to repress who you truly are in order to maintain an appearance. Or is that a motif? I don't know.
Yeah.
Motif? Motif.
Yeah.
We'll call it a motif. And Juan is definitely that way. He's not a bad person. He's just been dealt a bad lot in life. It's kind of like what Sandman said in Spider-Man 3. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a bad person. I've just had bad luck.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much Juan, Mahershala Ali's character.
Yeah, and, you know, he hangs out with Chiron and starts teaching him some stuff. And one of my favorite scenes of the movie, and I don't know why, but it just causes my heart to warm up when he teaches him how to swim. And he takes him out to the beach, and he kind of holds him, and then he lets him go. And he's like, I promise I won't let you go. And he's like, I told you not to let me go. And he's like, I promise I'm not. And he ends up, you know, putting him under, and he's like, look, you're floating by yourself. And I don't know, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, just little moments like that. It's beautiful, and the camera work is phenomenal. Like, it feels like I am swimming with them.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to mention the camera work. It's just like, oh my god, just the writing and the acting. Like, for me, the best kind of acting is when someone feels like they're not acting. It just feels like people doing. You just completely forget that this is someone playing a role.
Yeah, it doesn't feel, as I said, it doesn't feel scripted. It feels like I'm watching just people, and the actors did a phenomenal job of. It didn't feel like I was watching actors just acting the role. It felt like I was watching real people.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "You're doing a good job, buddy." And it's almost like it's his dad. And it's just, again, it's fucking beautiful, man.
Gets me in the feels.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, God, it's beautiful. A24, man.
Like, the first part, I'm already hooked on this film.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'm jealous of this movie. Let me tell you right now, I'm jealous of this film.
Me too. I'm extremely jealous. Like, I want to become a filmmaker, and I'll take inspiration from films like Moonlight, because this film is phenomenal.
It's one of those movies like Alien or, I don't know, The Godfather. It's one of those. Damn it, I wish I made this movie. I'm jealous of this. How come this movie's so good?
It's one of those movies, like this, Alien or Apocalypse Now, where you're like, damn, I wish I made a film like that.
Well, maybe not Apocalypse Now. That actually that doesn't sound like a good deal, but I that is also a phenomenal film. It's my 4th favorite film of all time.
Yeah, so I stand by that.
It is a great film. Oh, God. And, you know, he starts kind of chilling with him, and he has a nice sit with him, and he tells him kind of the part of the tragedy of this film is that, again, no one really gets to choose who they want to be in this film. And Juan is basically trying to tell Chiron to not be like him and to try and choose his own path in life.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it sad considering what happens in the movie. But again, yeah, this film just fucking pounds you with emotion, I have to say.
Yeah, it just hits you in the emotional spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a film it'll test you. It's not like a difficult, or well, let me think about how I'm going to say that. It's a movie that will test you in some ways. It'll test you in terms... It's not like a utterly traumatizing movie. It's not like Hereditary.
No.
But it's like... What do you think, Jacob?
It tests you on an emotional level, I would say, in a realistic way.
Yeah.
Not in a Hereditary way, definitely not, but in a realistic way.
Not in a horrifically traumatizing way. This film won't traumatize you, but it will make you feel something. And if it doesn't, well, I can't help you there. So one night, while Juan is out hanging out with his homies and selling crack, I apologize. He ends up seeing Paula smoking crack with one of his customers, which is just like, oh my god, if he didn't think this woman was the worst already, she's a crack fiend.
And you're just like, man, this film, this woman, like, we already knew she was a nut job, but this just proves our case, or just seals the deal. That's a better way to say it.
Yeah, this woman is horrible. God. I mean, it's not funny, but this woman is legit, like, the worst person ever.
Yeah, but Naomie Harris in this film,
oh my god,
she did a great job playing a nut job.
Oh man, she gave her all in this role. I know she's been in some other movies. I forget what they are at the moment. But oh yeah, she was Moneypenny. Yes, that's and No Time to Die. Okay. Oh, she was also in Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Anyways,
We'll get to that.
she was also Tia Dalma in the second and third Pirate of the Caribbean movies. You know what? I actually like Pirates of the Caribbean movies, to get on a tangent real quick. At least the first three.
Me too. The first three in particular, I really like.
And people are like, oh, it's too convoluted. But you know what? I like those movies. I think they're fun movies.
They're fun.
Yeah. Also made by the guy who made Rango, so there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
Which Rango is amazing. Anyway. Back to this movie. So Paula is, again, shown to just be the worst person you could imagine. And Juan, of course, goes over there and is like, what the hell are you doing? You know, you have a son. Go... It's like, what are you doing with your life? You're sitting there, you're smoking crack, you're neglecting your son, you know, you're a bitch. And she's all like, well, fuck you, motherfucker! And she starts getting all pissed off at him, and she gets all mad, and she's all like, what the fuck you get off? You're selling crack to me! You know, and, you know, while they're arguing over Chiron's upbringing, which, of course, again, you know, Juan is kind of at a crossroads there, because, you know, he can't really answer that. She has a point. But, again, I fucking hate this woman. And, then she just says the worst thing you could say about your own kid. Which she says she basically goes like, she basically says without actually just saying it, that she knows why Chiron gets bullied by his peers. Because of the way he walks. And it's like, who the fuck says that? Like, I don't know. Like, again, that's like the magic of this movie. It just gets you feeling emotions, but who the fuck says that about their kid?
Yeah, especially their kid. Their own son.
That's horrible. Like oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh, no.
Like, look, my parents aren't perfect, but I know they probably wouldn't say that about me.
Oh, yeah, they definitely wouldn't say that about me.
And,
So the fact that she would say that to her own son just makes her an even more horrible person.
Exactly. Wait, is this the scene where is this after the scene... Is this scene where she's yelling at him when he's staring, in that shot of him staring at her and he's all sad, or is that the scene before? Because I don't remember exactly.
It's before.
Okay, I thought so. I think. I forgot to watch this. It's kind of a habit. I have a bad habit where I forget to rewatch the movies we talk about on this show.
Thankfully, I rewatched it yesterday on Netflix.
Oh, you did? That's good.
Yeah. So it's before.
Okay. So then, after she said this already horrible thing about her son, she goes home and just starts, like, just fucking wailing on Chiron for no reason at all.
None.
And, you know, I get this movie's trying to say, well, she's also kind of a victim, too, because, you know, she's addicted to crack, but I'm sorry. Like, again, I don't like people who you know, are mean to children or abuse children. You know, that for me is kind of, that's like lower than murdering somebody for me. Like, how fucking sad do you have to be to bully a kid when you're a freaking grown-ass adult? It's insane. It's probably why Snape... It's probably why Snape inspires a lot of emotion in me. Because it's like, how sad and pathetic do you have to be to, like, you know, bully a child, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is this? Anyway.
Like,
and you're utterly disgusted by this woman, like Juan is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think she even calls him a faggot as well, which again, my God, like,
Yeah, just the worst thing you can call somebody.
It's just
that word.
Like, she's the worst. Really, I'm not lying here.
She is.
Anyways, this has gone on. It's just, this woman is horrible. I just have to say, this is the worst person ever. One of them. Anyway. So, the next day, Chiron ends up going over to Juan and Teresa. And, you know, he's really sad because, you know, his mom's fucking bitch. And he admits that he hates his mother, which is just, man. Even though, like, his mother is a horrible person, like, that's really heartbreaking to hear from a kid.
Yeah, from a little kid saying that they don't like their mother.
And he also asks Juan what a faggot is. Because he doesn't know what it is.
No.
And Juan basically explains to him, and I love how he describes it to him, because it's almost like how you describe something to a child. And he tells him that it's a word used to make gay people feel bad. And then Chiron's all like, is there anything wrong with being gay? And he's all like, no. And he says there's nothing wrong with being gay, and that he shouldn't allow others to mock him.
God, this movie's so good.
Oh my God, I know. It's just like, I love Juan too. Again, he's just...
Me too.
You know, again, I know he's like a drug dealer, but like he's like, I can't fuck with this dude. It's kind of sad that a drug dealer is a more responsible parental figure than his own mother. Like, that's just kind of sad.
It is sad. It's really sad, actually.
It's pretty pitiful. Like, really? Yeah, the dude who's selling you crack is a better parent than you.
It's pathetic on the mom's part.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, that's horrible.
But little scenes like that where Chiron asks Juan what a faggot is, and him saying, like, is there anything wrong with being gay? And then Juan's like, no. Those little scenes make this film special.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, again, this film, one of the other things this film just nails is, like, those small human moments.
Yes. Like, for me, the small human moments in any film, not just this film, but any other film, those... It's the cherry on top for me.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I mean, this movie just kind of goes to the stratosphere after this, but man, this first part is just really, really sad. And again, you're just kind of like... this man... Again, this man is a more responsible and empathetic parent than his own mom, who's, like, fucking drugged out and getting and like throwing shit at him and saying he's a faggot. It's like, it's horrible. Like, who? What is this?
Like, who says that to their own kid?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, who fucking says shit like that? Like, I don't. This woman is fucked in the head. I just gotta say, there's something wrong with this woman.
Oh, most definitely.
Chiron, but aside from our tangent, Chiron then asks Juan if he sells drugs, and Juan says yes. and he asks if his mother does drugs, and Juan also says yes. And you can really tell on his face that he looks really sad about it. I forget, doesn't Chiron leave after he says that? Doesn't he get mad at Juan, or does he just, like, sit there? I forget.
No, he just sits there.
And that is the end of part 1, called Little. Man, great start to this movie.
Oh, yeah. Amazing start to this film.
Oh, man.
You're immediately hooked.
Oh, yeah, you're just like, I want some of that. I want more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in part 2, Chiron, which is basically just Chiron going by his name. He's not Little anymore. He is Chiron. And Chiron is now a teenager, and I don't know if that kid had, like, his older brother play him or something. I don't know. But the kid who plays teenage Chiron looks a lot like little Chiron.
They did. I don't know if that's either, like, phenomenal casting or if that's really his brother.
I have no idea.
I mean, either case is, like, great for me.
Yeah. But now Chiron is a teenager. He goes by Chiron now. And he's kind of just, doing his thing. And basically he's trying to avoid the school bully, who, again, is just the worst person imaginable. This like, dreadlocked dude named Terrell.
Mm-hmm.
Who's just the worst. Again. It's like, God, this kid needs a break.
Like, God, is everybody in this film, like, horrible people?
Exactly.
Versus Mom and now the dreadlock dude?
Yeah. So, Chiron basically spends a lot of time either not getting into anything with the bully Terrell, or he spends time with Teresa. Because, unfortunately, Juan died in the intermittent years. During kind of in the intermittent years before Little and Chiron, Juan got shot and killed. And he feels so sad, because it's like, man, he was like the only like really decent person in his life, and now he's fucking dead.
Yeah, he was pretty much my father figure.
Yeah, basically. And Teresa's still around, though, and she's she's still, she's chilling. And, she helps Chiron out. She gives him money from time to time. Which, of course, his mother, crazy woman, ends up taking for crack.
Yep.
Because she's fucking horrible. So, Paula, who is still horrible, by the way, basically her crack addiction has gotten so bad, she's become a prostitute, which is just, again, irresponsible parenting.
God, like, could this woman get any worse? Like, you were already a drug addict, and, like, now you're a prostitute?
Yeah, you're a cracked out prostitute. Like, come on, like, those are the ones people, like, that's like the punchline of prostitutes. Like, come on.
Like, ugh.
So, she forces Chiron to give her the money that he gets from Teresa, which, again, that's horrible. As if this woman couldn't be any more horrendous. She's just like, give me that money, fool! And he gives her the money, and he's like, no! But then he's like, okay. It's just like, but not everything's bad. Chiron has a homie named Kevin. Did we meet Kevin in the previous one? Because I forgot if he's in that one. I know he's in high school in the adult section, but...
Oh, yeah. In the first part, he meets Kevin when they were both little. They were wrestling for a bit, but now they come see each other again in their teenage years.
Oh.
Part 2.
Okay, well, I guess we met Kevin earlier, but yes, Kevin, who is Chiron's boy, I guess... is that his only friend? Like, that's sad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Again, that's just sad.
It is sad.
So Chiron and Kevin's like, yo, dog, I just got a detention, bro. And he's all like, what you talking about, man? And he's all like, bro, I got detention because I got caught banging a chick on the school stairwell. I don't know why. Kevin is just like the, I don't know, dude's a G, I guess. He's just...
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. He is a G.
He's just like, he'll just like straight up tell Chiron some like random shit that he went through. And he's all like, yo, dog, I was banging this chick on the stairwell and they caught me. Chiron's just, and he just like sits there and his eyes are just like, and he's so intrigued by it. It's just...
Well, the rest of us were like, okay.
Now, I mean, I get it. You know, when I was in high school, you know, sex was a frequent conversation point. I don't know, because high schoolers are obsessed with sex for some reason.
Yeah, high schoolers were very raunchy back then.
Yeah, they're pretty raunchy now. Which,
oh boy.
I am surprised that he only got a detention from doing that.
Just from doing that.
I thought they would have been like, you're suspended. Get the fuck out of here, you weirdo.
Like, that's astounding to me.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, what the fuck? You just got a detention for that?
Just from that? Really?
Yeah, like, and that's like a thing, I guess. They bond because, like, Kevin tells Chiron his, like, weird sex stories, and, like, Chiron is just, like, super into it. But aside from that, Chiron and Kevin, they're boys, and they get along pretty well. So, yeah. Yeah. So, and it is also kind of shown later that Chiron is kind of attracted to Kevin. Because I think he is gay.
Oh, he is.
He definitely is. Yes. So Kevin, or not Kevin, so Chiron is of course interested in Kevin's weird sex stories. And he later ends up having a dream about Kevin and the girl, then they're fucking getting it on in Teresa's backyard. I mean, I know this isn't supposed... I don't know, this probably isn't supposed to be funny, but I just think it's funny for some reason.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why.
Is that like the basis of their friendship? He'll just like tell him about some girl he was nailing, and he was like, yo, I nailed her in the gym, my guy, and Kevin's all like, what the... And Chiron's just super into it. That's like his fetish.
Yeah, that's the start of their friendship. I banged a woman, yeah.
Yeah, basically. So, he has a dream about Kevin and the girl, you know, banging in Teresa's backyard, and he ends up waking up because he's like, what the fuck was that? It says waking with a start, which I don't know what that means because I'm a fucking idiot, but I have an idea though.
I have no idea what that means either.
I have no idea. So Kevin and Chiron. So Kevin and Chiron are just hanging out, and they continue hanging out, and Terrell being fucking douche, just keeps fucking with him. And Kevin's like, man, don't do that or whatever. So one night, Kevin visits Chiron when they're at a beach near his house. And they're like chilling, and he's all like, yo, bro, I got some weed, dog. You wanna smoke? I got blunt. And Chiron's just like, you know what, man? Alright, bro. So they end up smoking together, and they're just chilling and hanging out, and the two discuss their kind of what they want to do with their lives, and Kevin is actually being a supportive friend here. He's like, you know, you can do whatever you want, man. It's not like we're, you know, destined to be here or anything. He's all like, and because, you know, Chiron, one of the things about Chiron in this movie is that he doesn't really know what he wants.
Yeah, he doesn't really know what he wants. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. He's still figuring out who he is.
Yeah, even at the end when he becomes black, but So Chiron and Kevin are hanging out, and Kevin is like telling him something. I forget exactly what he tells him. Jacob, do you remember?
I cannot remember at this moment.
Well, I do know that one of the things he's talking about, Kevin talks about a nickname that he gave Chiron when they were children, which I think was Little, what was mentioned earlier.
Oh, yes. And then Chiron's like, why do you keep calling me that?
He's all like, bro, have you seen you? Freaking little birdie-ass arms. No, but he's all like, why do you keep calling me that? And he's all like, I don't know. And then they kiss. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. And then Kevin just fucking beats Chiron's meat. That's all I'll say on that. Which, what do you think about this scene, Jacob? I want you to talk about it before I say anything.
I mean, look, I'm not gay. I'm a straight guy. I like women, but it's a beautiful scene. Just seeing like them. It's a beautiful scene because seeing Chiron open to somebody else.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I was about to say, on the one hand, it's a little awkward because they're kind of just sitting there, and there's music playing. By the way, the music in this film is amazing. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Phenomenal.
Oh my god. Our boy Chiron is just like, he's all like, yo, dog. And then he just like starts beating his dick. It's a good way to put it, man. I'll just lay it thick. He's beating his dick with his hand. But yes, yeah. It is beautiful seeing Chiron finally kind of open up to somebody that isn't Juan, because Juan died.
Yeah.
And it seems like things are finally going well for Chiron, right?
For a little while.
Yep. But you know how it is in these types of movies. Nothing ever goes right for the protagonist, ever.
Nope.
So, next morning, Terrell, the awful bully guy from earlier, he's all like, yo, dog, we're gonna go fuck with that Chiron boy. I'm like, I'm gonna punch him. He's all like, okay. And Kevin doesn't really feel it, because, he really likes Chiron, and, Chiron's his boy and all that. But, again, kind of goes back to that motif that Kevin is kind of being forced to be someone that he isn't really.
Yeah.
Because, you think Kevin is kind of this super suave, kind of, banging chicks on school stairwells, which, by the way, again, how the fuck did he not get expelled for doing that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I have the idea, if someone in my high school got caught doing something like that, they would have probably gotten expelled, or at least suspended for a while.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too focused on this. I don't know, but I don't know, but yeah. So, Kevin is kind of like, he's super suave, but it actually turns out he's kind of a sensitive guy, kind of like Chiron. And, he has dreams and whatnot. And, he wants to do stuff with his life that isn't just, gangbanging. I'm sorry if that sounds very bad. Ugh. We're an inclusive show. I'll put it that way.
Indeed.
So Terrell is all like wanting to do like this hazing ritual for some reason, because I don't know, this dude is just fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So they gang up on Chiron and just start beating the fuck out of him, and they like do him in a line, Unbroken style, where they like line everybody up and they just start whooping his ass. which is sadly more realistic than you might think. Because let me tell you, schools don't do shit about bullying.
Nothing. They don't do shit about it.
No. Anyway. So, Kevin is kind of like not about that, but he reluctantly punches Chiron until he can't stand, which is sad to see, which is a really sad moment in this. Again, the emotions are just like, it's just kicking you to the ground at this point.
It is.
And Kevin, you can tell, is not... I really like the acting of this kid who plays teenage Kevin. Because you can tell through his facial emotions that, he doesn't really want to do this, but he feels pressured, Peer pressure.
Yeah, the kid who plays Kevin, phenomenal job. He's the same kid who played young Corey Wise from the series When They See Us. Phenomenal series, by the way, but he does a phenomenal job in this film as well.
I'll have to look that up. When They See Us. Huh. That's cool. I have to check that out. Anyway. But yeah, that kid's a really good actor, by the way. I mean, there are good kid actors nowadays.
There are.
They say never work with kids, but you can work with these kids. These kids are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chiron gets knocked down, and Kevin just is paralyzed with horror as Terrell and the other boys just start kicking the crap out of him. And you're just like, what are you doing? What is this? What? No! What were you saying, Jacob?
Oh, no, I was agreeing with you.
You were like, no! Don't... What are you doing? This guy's just, like, standing there, and he's just, like, horrified. But then they end up getting chased off by some teachers who end up taking Chiron to the principal's office. And the principal's all like, yo, bro, he's like, who attacked you? But Chiron doesn't say. Because, as he puts it, he says that, reporting them isn't going to solve anything. And, in my opinion, this is probably the, first saddest part of this movie, because Chiron has finally kind of lost his innocence, in a sense, by the end of the scene.
Yeah, this is the first scene where you finally see, Chiron break out, and just, this was his breaking point, and he's just had it, and it is, I'm not lying when I say this. The first time I watched it, it almost brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sad moment, because you can kind of see that he's not quite the kid anymore, and there's, this bitterness now.
Yeah, I also love how when the principal is talking to him, saying, I understand, they fade away from her talking, and you just see Chiron's facial expressions.
Yeah, that's, again, a visual motif. We see shots of Chiron's face, and they sit on it. Which, again, I love those scenes in the movie when it just sits on Chiron.
Oh, me too.
And you can just see what the kid is feeling, and it kind of lets you into the scenery a little bit. It's more immersive that way.
Indeed.
So, Chiron finally decides, you know what? Fuck these guys. I'm gonna do something a little crazy. It's to quote another movie about, another Jordan Peele film, Us. He's like, okay, you want to get crazy? We can get crazy. So, he walks into class the next day, grabs a chair, and just smashes it over Terrell's head. And you're like, wow, okay. I mean, guy had it coming, but damn.
It was satisfying, yeah, but man, the entire chair. Whew.
So
yeah, that's where
he hit him hard.
Chiron lost it.
Yeah, it's also where you kind of. Yep, Chiron has kind of put the mask on, I suppose, I can say, psychologically.
Yes.
Where he's no longer the kid. Now he's putting this mask over, I'm tough, don't fuck with me, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in other movies like this, it would be like a triumphant moment where he like beats the crap out of his bully. But in this, I just feel really sad.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're not like, oh hell yeah. It's just like, aw, because like seeing this was Chiron's breaking point, and just like seeing him just like basically saying without saying anything, like, I've had it.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of living up to the, I guess, to the mask, I suppose. He's apparently he decided not to follow Juan's advice about choosing his own path, and it's a sad thing to see him kind of fall into that cycle of violence and anger and whatnot.
Yeah, and basically being what society wants him to be.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a heartbreaking movie.
God, yes! That's the best way to describe this film.
Feels. I've never felt this emotional about a film in a while.
It's hard for me to get, emotional, but this film just, God, this movie just pounds you with the just emotions that it makes you go through. It's like, God, man, this is rough. It's a rough.
Yeah. One of the most heartbreaking films, for me, up there with, Forrest Gump or most of Pixar's films. It is such a powerful movie.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, and one of the heartbreaking things about it is that kind of Chiron, this kid didn't really have much of a chance, and that's kind of the tragedy of his character, is it not?
Yeah.
It's like his mom's shitty to him his whole life, and he's basically shat on by everybody because he's different. And his friend fucking bailed on him when he needed him. Kids just beat the shit out of him for no reason. His father figure got shot. He's had enough, like Jacob said earlier. And again, it's really sad to see.
It is. God, this movie is I'm already getting in the feels.
You're right. You need a moment?
Yeah, I need a moment. Whew. Get water. Okay, I'm good now.
Ooh. So his classmates are like, "Yo, Chiron, no!" And his teacher walks over and they restrain him, and Chiron gets arrested. Which there's a realistic part, by the way, because every time a fight would break out at my high school, cops would show up. I'm not kidding.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
There were cops who'd hang out at our school, and cops who would hang out at our school, and they'd have to, manhandle some of the people who were fighting. It was nuts. So, that part is pretty realistic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same with that's exactly how my high school was. Just, a few police officers just kind of guarding the school if something bad happened. So, yeah, this movie... It's realistic. It's a very realistic movie in every sense.
Yeah, it doesn't feel it doesn't feel super, utterly tragic. It's not something like Boys in the Hood, which kind of which, while I love Boys in the Hood, it's a great film, it does kind of pound you in the head with, violence and all that stuff. Great film. I love Boys in the Hood. But, sometimes it kind of pounds you in the head with, this is bad, we should do something about it. But I think Moonlight takes a more subtle approach.
It does. Oh, the other thing I love about Moonlight, there's not a big dramatic scene. Everything is done in a very realistic way, because usually films usually dramas in particular, they'll have a big moment where two people are screaming at each other, and there's a moment where the actors can act their asses off. Nothing in this film about that. I that's what I love about it. It's a very subtle movie in regards to that.
Yeah. Exactly. And Chiron's arrested, and he ends up leaving the school in a police cruiser, while Kevin just sits there and watches him. And he can't really do anything about it. And again, really sad.
Just a sad movie.
It's a sad movie, yeah. It's just like, damn. Movies. So that's the end of part 2, Chiron. And now we're in part 3, Black. Which is not only a good use of, not only a solid nickname, but also a good way to describe how Chiron is in this scene. Or in this part of the movie. There's a blackness over him. I like it's kind of an extended metaphor.
Oh, I love that. It's beautiful, actually.
It's black, because now he's just got this darkness over him now.
Whew, yeah.
So, now Chiron is older, and he is living in Atlanta now. He's in Carlton Land.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Carlton Land, yes. Yeah, he's in Carlton Land, and he's dealing drugs, which is really sad. Again, you're just like, damn you, Barry Jenkins, for making this movie that makes me all emotional and getting me all up in arms about this. Now he's dealing drugs. I'm sure Juan is looking down and he's disappointed. This sucks.
Yeah. Now he's doing drugs, and he's like a super hard guy now. I mean, he's like fucking ripped, and he wears grills all the time. Like, he's a completely different person.
Yeah, he wears like a little bandana on his head.
Yeah, he's pretty much a gangster now.
Yeah, again, kind of that theme of masks. Or, again, not being who you truly are in that sense. And you can definitely tell that this isn't really who Chiron is, but it's kind of like a security blanket for him now.
Yeah, he's pretty much being what society sees him as, and once again playing into the stereotype of black people are always gangsters and all that. And Chiron, seeing him as an adult, he's playing into that, and it's sad.
Yeah, it's really sad to see, because, and it's sad to see him dealing drugs, because it's like, man, he's continuing that cycle now. He hasn't broken out of it,
Nope. He's still in that cycle.
So yeah, now he's this drug dealer. He's kind of buff. He's got his little, he's got muscles now. He's not fucking little beetle arms anymore. He's selling drugs to people, and he's like, yo, man. He's like, he gets frequent calls from his mother, who is at a drug treatment center now. But, yeah, Black ain't having none of that shit. He's like, fuck her. No. I'm like, fuck her. She had her chance. No. So, yeah, you see, but again, I like how the Black is sort of a metaphor as well. It's not just his nickname. It's kind of the metaphor of he's kind of has this blackness over him. And not just his skin color, just kind of how he feels emotionally.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful.
Like, he's more bitter, he's more resentful, Mm-hmm. He's not taking as much shit from anybody anymore. Not that, he should take shit from people, because, that's not, don't let people push you around, but, it's just kind of sad seeing that he's kind of locked that better part of himself away.
Yeah, it is sad.
But one morning, while he's, doing his thing, he gets a call from an old buddy, Kevin. And Kevin's like, yo, man, what's up? And of course, Chiron, Black, is kind of like, hey, what's up, man? He's all like, hey, I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, yo, man, I've been looking for you for a while, and I got your phone number. Yo, you should... Like, yo, if you're ever in the Miami area, you should come see me. And he's all like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And he's like, I'll think about it. Or something like that. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, pretty much he was like, Not. He didn't say this exactly, but he's pretty much like, I'll think about it.
Yeah, because, I'm sure he's still pissed off at Kevin for fucking bailing on him a few years ago. All those years ago.
Yeah, he's still holding that grudge, like, you didn't have my back. And I opened up to you. And I feel betrayed.
Yeah, like, you can tell, like, it's kind of a weird thing for him. Like, he's still kind of angry, but it's not like he's gonna, walk over and just cap him.
No.
That would be a much different movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely not. That would have changed the entire tone of the film.
Yeah, that would have been a tone... I was just about to say that. Yeah, that would have been a huge tonal whiplash.
But no, he just feels, as I said, betrayed.
Yeah, he's all like, bro, I opened up to you, and now you're acting like nothing's wrong. I bet that's kind of the thought process. He's like, man, you're acting like nothing's wrong. You're being all shitty to me all those years ago.
Like, you're not going to apologize or even bring that up? Like, you're acting like nothing happened between us?
Yeah. But, Chiron is just not in a good place. I'll put it that way.
No, he's not.
He kind of just lives by himself, and he doesn't really have anyone in his life. His mom is, like, kind of in her way trying to mend fences, but, Chiron ain't having none of that.
No, he's pretty much said, fuck it with her. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, you're just like, that's hard. That's always a hard situation. But I understand where he's coming from, because that woman is the fucking worst.
Indeed.
Or at least she was, until we get to the next scene here. Chiron thinks about it for a few days, but then he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll go see him and see what he wants. Because, obviously he wasn't just calling just to, as a social call.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up taking a drive. But in the meantime, while he's trying to mend this fence with Kevin, he thinks about his mom, and he's like, fuck, gotta go see her too. So, he goes to visit his mom.
Ooh.
And let me just put it this way, the years have not been kind to this woman.
Definitely not.
She looks horrible. Like, she's all pale, and she looks like she hadn't slept in a couple of days. And she's like in a treatment center. You're like, I thought she would be looking better.
Yeah, but no, she looks like a complete train wreck.
She looks worse than she did.
Whew. Like, yeah, clearly you can tell, like, she's been through a lot.
Yeah. And, it's so weird, because you've been spending the whole movie just really not liking this woman. She's like the worst mother possible. She puts him down all the time. She's super shitty to him. She even calls him a faggot at one point, which is just a horrible thing. I'm not just saying that to, like, virtue signal. That is just a horrible thing to say to somebody in general.
Yeah, in general. Especially your own kid.
Yeah, your own kid. Yeah, it's like... But again, you almost kind of feel pity for this woman. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite scenes of the movie, when he finally sees her. And... fucking beautiful, man.
I know. Like, such a beautiful movie.
It's such a beautiful movie. It's just a beautiful scene, because you can just see on the actor's face who plays adult Chiron. Trevante Rhodes is his name. I just read this on Wikipedia. Mr. Rhodes, fucking kudos to you, man. Like, you did a phenomenal job. Also, I forgot a little detail. He kind of looks like Juan. He kind of styles himself after Juan a little bit.
He does. I noticed that when I first watched it. I was like, he kind of looks like Juan in regards to the style he's wearing.
So, you can definitely tell Juan is still an influence on him.
Yeah, even when he is he's being the person that Juan didn't want him to be.
Yeah. And but back to the scene with his mom. Beautiful scene. You can just tell there's great acting from both of them, Naomie Harris and Trevante Rhodes.
the acting from this scene in particular, I mean, the acting all around is phenomenal, but this scene in particular, it is triumphant. It is astounding.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous, and no music in the background. It's just them talking and just seeing the actors act. Ugh, I love it.
And I love how he's both angry and sad, and he says, "Why, Mom?" And I forget exactly what he says, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to say she's sorry, and he's all like, "Well, why, Mom? Well, why are you sorry?" And she doesn't really know what to say. Like, it's some really haunting stuff.
It really is.
And at first he's not really wanting to hear what she has to say, but she basically says that she's sorry for, not loving him, not treating him well. But she does say that she does love him now, even if he doesn't love her back. And you're like, oh, man. Can I just be content to not like you? Now I feel bad for you.
Yeah. Like, ugh. Where are the tissues?
Yeah, exactly. And after a while of them talking, they end up tearing up and they reconcile. I'd say tentatively. And they like hug it out, and Paula says, "Go." And so Chiron leaves. And that kind of closes that up with his mom. So, I think it's a beautiful scene.
Yeah, it's a beautiful scene.
I mean, it's, kind of showcases that just emotion. Again, so much emotion in this. That's why I love it.
I know. Yeah. God. Just get you in the feels.
Yeah, I know. Just it's like, yeah, stab me in the heart, why don't you?
Just like stab it in there, deep in there. Ugh.
So Chiron ends up going back to Miami, and I'm sure he doesn't really like being in Miami because a lot of bad memories there.
Mm-hmm.
But he ends up finding Kevin where he works. He works at a diner, which, you're kind of like, oh, seems kind of older. I don't know, aren't they in, like, they look like they're either in their late 20s, early 30s, maybe?
I was thinking mid-20s.
Mid-20s? Yeah.
For me, personally.
So he ends up visiting Kevin at his diner, and once again, I know I've said this, I know I just said this a few minutes ago, but this is another one of just my favorite scenes in this whole movie when they meet again.
I know.
Especially with the music, oh my god. I love that song he plays on the jukebox later on.
Oh, yeah. It's phenomenal.
You okay, man?
Yeah, no, it's just this movie. It's this movie.
It sounds like you were tearing up, man. Are you okay?
No, I'm just kind of getting choked up. By just talking about it, that's how powerful this movie
yeah,
is.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. But basically, he tries to kind of get something out of Chiron, and and he's, Kevin's being nice, and he's trying to just kind of make some small talk with Chiron. But Chiron's just not really feeling it. He's kind of just being mum.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it captures that kind of awkwardness. Like, what can you say? Like, what can you say to this guy?
Yeah. Like, what can I say to him? I haven't seen you in years.
And the last time we interacted, it was not a good interaction.
Nope.
But when his attempts to try and get something out of Chiron don't work, Kevin decides to kind of open up a little bit on what he's been up to for the last couple of years. And he tells him that he has a kid now with his ex-girlfriend. And while that relationship is over, he is very pleased by his role of being a dad.
Indeed.
And Chiron, this seems to hit a chord with Chiron because he ends up kind of opening up a little bit about his own things that he's been doing. Talking about he's into drug dealing now. Oh, I heard my dad. But yeah. Anyway, Chiron talks about his drug dealing, and he ends up asking Kevin why he called him. And then one of my favorite sequences in this movie, Kevin gets up and he ends up playing a song on the jukebox, and he said that it made him think of Chiron. I don't know why, but that's just like, I can't, it's one of those scenes that I can't describe why I like it so much, you know?
It's a simple scene, but yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, it's like the ending of The Searchers. It's like, there's no words I can say that can justify why I love this so much.
It's just like, I will say, here's how I would put it. It's just like a very human moment. That's all I'll say about that. It's just a very human moment. Like, nothing dramatic's happening. It's just him turning on some music, just eating dinner with Chiron, and that's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, you know. I can't describe it, and also the song, I think it's called "Hello Stranger." I really like that song too.
Oh, it's a great song.
I mean, the music in this film, I know I mentioned this earlier, but the music in this movie is amazing.
Oh yeah, the music is phenomenal.
I love it. It's so good.
It's amazing.
And, you know, it's just like, and you can finally see that Kevin and Chiron's friendship is beginning to kind of spark again.
Yeah.
So, after Kevin serves Chiron dinner, the two of them go to his apartment. And Kevin and Chiron are hanging out, and they're both kind of just hanging out, and Kevin ends up, this is probably like the big dramatic moment of the movie. Oh, sorry about that. This is probably like the big moment in this movie when Kevin finally just kind of tells Chiron that, you know what, maybe my life didn't go the way that I wanted it to. But, you know what, I'm happy. And, when Chiron hears that, excuse me real quick. Hey, Jacob, keep them busy while I'm gone, okay?
Alright.
You know where we're at?
Oh, yeah, I know where we're at.
You're not lost? Okay, good.
Alright, so when Kevin tells him that, Chiron tells Kevin that he was the only man that has ever touched me. And it's such a... It's the big moment, as Britton said, and it's once again another powerful scene where Chiron tells Kevin, like, you were the only man who's ever touched me, and then we see Chiron basically cuddling with Kevin and just like holding each other, and it's so beautiful.
Sorry, I had something come up real quick. Where were we at?
I was at the part where Chiron tells Kevin, like, you were the only man that's ever touched me.
Oh, man. You know, you know, if you could think of just a perfect way to end the movie, I would say it's this. Because, you know, we don't really know what'll happen to Chiron This is one of those movies where I'm kind of curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, me too. It's one of those movies.
And, I mean, I think it's just a beautiful ending. And when he... I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah. It is. The ending.
I think it's a beautiful ending because Chiron is... Like, he was kind of starting to kind of break that kind of darkness inside of him, but once he admits to Kevin this whole thing, he kind of starts to get out of that anger and bitterness that he was in.
Yeah, and he's being Chiron, just like that very timid and quiet little boy that he used to be.
Yeah, and it's like really beautiful and sad, but it's also kind of hopeful at the same time. Bittersweet, I think, is a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's a very bittersweet ending.
On the one hand, Black is a drug dealer and whatnot, but on the other hand, at least he's opened himself up again.
Yeah, and the final shot where we see little Chiron at the beach, and then he looks at us, basically, and that's how the movie ends. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Just a wonderful way to end the movie.
Yeah. As you said, it's so bittersweet.
Well, there's A24 for you. It takes stories that you've heard before and ends up doing them in really interesting ways. Damn it, I love this movie. Moonlight, I think, is one of the best films I've seen in recent years. And this is a film that I think could have easily been Oscar baity, but it's done in such a beautiful way.
Yes, indeed. As I said, it doesn't feel like Oscar bait. You can clearly tell that they put a lot of passion into this film.
Mm-hmm.
This film is it's a masterpiece. Honestly, for me, it's one of those very rare films that I'll call perfect. And I rarely say that about any film.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of nervous about talking about this because I'm like, God, what am I going to say about this movie rather than just, cliche niceties? Because it's hard to explain to people why I like this movie so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. But yeah, this movie is just incredible. And I love mostly everything about it. There's literally nothing wrong with this movie that I can think of. Nothing feels out of place in this movie, and nothing feels wrong.
No, I can't think of one flaw with this film. It's honestly, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this. It's perfect. The script is so emotionally investing, clever. The cinematography is some of the best I've seen. Cleverly pieces the story together in 3 chapters of different life stages, and documents a lifetime magnificently. Moonlight is one not to be forgotten.
Exactly. I mean, I was about to say, I also love how it's split into those 3 parts. And I don't know why that stuck with me over the years, but I just love how they did that.
Me too.
Almost feels kind of like a novel in some ways. I don't know.
It does.
But man, I love Moonlight. Such a fantastic movie.
It is a masterwork.
A masterwork, of course. Yes, it's just so good.
And like you said, Britton, it's a film for everyone, not just for the African Americans. It's also a great film for the LGBTQ people. A great film for anyone who relates to what Chiron, our character, goes through.
I mean, I'm not gay, but I found that I'm not gay, and I'm not black, and I'll never know what those experiences are like, being that way are like. But what I can say is that I can understand feeling like you don't belong in a particular way. Now, of course, I've never... Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, no, of course, I've never been through things as extreme as what Chiron has been through, but I do understand the feeling of just kind of not fitting in and feeling like you been shat on your whole life.
I mean, being a biracial man myself, I've been through a couple of racial things in my life, so I definitely understand. Like, this film, it's like... It hits me. It's like, what do I say? It hits me at home.
Yeah, I've always wanted to ask you, Jacob, but I'm like, am I gonna ask him this? It's like, I'm like, sorry, are you like biracial? I never wanted to ask you because I'm like, how do you ask that without sounding weird?
People ask me that constantly throughout the years, and I've gotten used to it. But I'll just say it here. I'm biracial. I'm half black and half white.
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought so, but I'm like, I don't want to ask him because that'll just sound really awkward.
Oh, no. Trust me, I'm used to it.
Okay.
People have thought I was either Puerto Rican or just white.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, is he Hispanic?
No, people are always like, you're interesting looking. What are you? I'm like, I'm half black, half white.
That's the worst thing to say to somebody. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. That's horrible. Or not, maybe it's not horrible, but that's really weird. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's fine. I actually say that as a compliment because, like, you look different. You look different from everybody else.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there.
Initially, I was like, I should be insulted. Should I be offended? But when I think about it, I was like, okay, that's actually a compliment.
It's like, yeah, should I? I'm like, yeah, should I be insulted by this or should I get along with this? I don't know. But yeah, I think this was the first movie I was introduced to A24.
Well, I think it was. I think it was the first film that introduced me to A24. I'm not sure. I think it was The Witches, then Moonlight.
Oh yeah, The Witch.
No, not The Witches. I was thinking of another film. The Witch, not The Witches, not the Robert Zemeckis movie. The Witch.
The Eggers movie. Yes. That's a fantastic movie, by the way.
Indeed.
Also, The Lighthouse is phenomenal.
So many great films from A24.
I know, of course, man. So many good ones.
Like, it's overwhelming.
And again, I think Moonlight's the first one that I saw from this group, from this production company.
I think it was mine, but I'm still not sure. I think it might have been The Witch.
There's some films I saw, I'm like, there are some movies I saw where I'm like, that's, this looks cool, and I didn't realize till later, it's an A24 movie. Whoopsie!
Yeah, I think The Green Knight was the first A24 film that I saw in theaters, so that was awesome. And Moonlight, take this with a grain of salt, I think it was the first film I saw from A24.
I think mine, the first one I saw in theaters first was, Uncut Gems.
Ooh.
Then it was The Green Knight. Both great movies, by the way. Though with the Safdies, I much prefer Good Time, actually. Even though Uncut Gems is great, and that's another movie I'd like to talk about someday. I don't know, I like Good Time a lot better, for some reason.
I still don't know if I like Good Time more or Uncut Gems more. Like, that's still the thing I'm, like, thinking about.
The only bad movie I've seen from A24 is probably The Killing of a Sacred Deer. And I know there's some art house guys who are probably going to be like, you didn't get it. And you know what? Fine. Maybe I didn't get it. It was still stupid. I still think it's dumb, okay? Like, I'm sorry. You can explain it to me all you want, but that's another film I'd love to just dive into at some point, so I can just talk about this movie is stupid.
It's pretty much like The Matrix for you in regards to A24 films.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Like people, it's getting people love it, but you're like, it's overrated.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see why.
And the thing about it too, I wanted to like that movie. Like every movie I go to see, I want to like seeing. I want to like it, you know.
Yeah.
So when you see Killing of the Sacred Deer, I'm just like, God, this movie is so stupid. Like, what is this? And I've seen people analyze it to death, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, they have valid points. I still think it's a dumb movie. I'm sorry.
I gotta check it out soon.
Check it, yeah. You have to see it for yourself, man.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix, hopefully still, so I gotta check it out whenever I can. But continue.
I did see The Disaster Artist in theaters, and that was an A24 film. I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Didn't seem like one. I guess we shouldn't assume things, right?
Nah.
The Vanishing of Sydney Hall. Apparently that movie got an 11. Ooh, okay. Back to Moonlight. I love this movie.
Yeah. Well, all I can say, masterpiece.
Yeah, this is the movie the Oscars got right. Like, that one time when they actually get something right. They got it right with this movie.
Yes. This, and for me, Parasite, which you still have to see.
I know, I need to see that.
All deserved their Oscar win.
I still need to... There's a lot of films I still need to see. Lady Bird, I know that's on Netflix. I want to see that so bad. I've heard it's actually good.
Another A24 film. Phenomenal movie.
You know, I've heard Zola's pretty good. Have you heard about that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it. Still have yet to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I was just kind of like... You know, this movie could either be really bad... This is one of those... Kind of like Queen and Slim, where I saw the trailer and I'm like, this could be either great or utterly horrendous.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. God, Queen and Slim.
Yes. But this movie's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Probably my top... I would say... top 30 favorite movies of all time. Maybe top 20.
I know it's in my favorite movies of all time, and I have like 200-something. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's like...
But yeah. You know what? I would say at least top 20, maybe top 15. Like, I have no issues with this film. I can't find one thing about this film that I do not like. One thing about this film that feels off. Like, it's, as I said, for me, it's like Alien, Edge of Tomorrow, or 12 Angry Men, where I would consider those movies perfect.
Oh, man, 12 Angry Men? How the hell did I forget about that? Damn it. That's a really damn good movie, though. 12 Angry Men.
Indeed.
Man, Moonlight. Love this movie. I mean, final thoughts on Moonlight before we talk about some other stuff real quick. Fantastic movie.
Oh, yeah. Once again, masterpiece.
Oh, man. Oh, most definitely. Oh, yes. Talk about a film that lives up to the hype. Do not miss this movie, ladies and gentlemen.
No, do not. Check this one out when you get the chance, because it's worth it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But Moonlight. Man, that was Moonlight. That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah,
very emotional, too.
Episode.
Very emotional as well. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Do you want to talk about some other film news real quick before we hop off here? If you don't mind indulging me here. I like when we get to this part and we have extra time.
Oh, yes, and I would And actually, I wanted to discuss a certain film you finished, but we can do whatever you want to do.
In some recent news, I finally got tickets for The Batman, which Carlton got very angry at me about when I told him. He's like, "You son of a bitch." And I'm like, I totally didn't. It totally didn't enter my mind that he doesn't go to the movies like we do. He'll just like sit out and like watch it at his house or however he finds it. I don't know. But yeah, he's just like, "You bastard." I'm like, I'm sorry. It's like it totally went over my head.
Oh yeah, I bet he's super jealous right now. He's
Oh,
like, I want to
man.
strangle you.
Yeah, and I also texted you, like, guess who got his Batman tickets? Yeah. Which I'm surprised, because I thought they would have sold out by now.
Right when you told me, I immediately went to my Cinemark app, because I go to Cinemark Theater to see my movies.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I was shocked they weren't sold out. I immediately got a ticket. So I am good.
Good man. Oh, God. Oh, man. You know, it's just like, we've talked a lot about the Batman on this show, so I won't keep this too long. But all I'll say is I'm fucking ready. Like, I'm ready.
Oh, I am so ready. Can March come any faster?
Exactly, I know. It's like, it's the same. It's around similar time as my birthday. Looks so damn good. Also saw Reeves' Planet of the Apes movies again recently. Man, they hold up. And that's another trilogy I'd love to talk about someday.
Oh, absolutely. One of the best movie trilogies ever.
Oh my God, yes. Some other news. We made a huge mistake on our we made a mistake on our most anticipated movies of 2022 because apparently we must have not caught it, but Alex Garland of Annihilation and Ex Machina fame is making another movie.
Yes, it's called Men.
Called Men. Yes. I haven't seen Devs yet either, which I've heard is good. I want to, because I think Alex Garland is one of the best science fiction creators out there today. Ex Machina, great movie. Annihilation, also excellent. Funny story about that movie. Maybe I'll share it when we ever talk about Annihilation. It's one of those kind of like The Green Knight where my dad just was not into it. I got more out of it than he did, and he's like, "Man, this is bullshit." Also got me into Jeff Vandermeer's work, so thank you, Alex Garland. Let me tell you, Southern Reach Trilogy, excellent books if you haven't read them. And now he's making Men, which is a horror movie. It's not a sci-fi movie this time. Did you see the trailer for it?
Oh, God. And all I can say is it looks like an A24 film.
Oh, man, talk about a film that gets your freaking heart pumping.
I know, right?
Like, geez, like I'm already, my chest was clenched from when I was watching the thing, and it's like it looks like a very good movie. I hope it's good.
Oh yes.
I mean,
and
you know.
Garland.
Oh.
I mean, the only film Annihilation, excellent film. Ex Machina, another great film from him. So I can't wait to see what he does with Men.
Yeah, I'm also intrigued to see him take on another genre, horror.
Oh boy.
I also recently added to my favorite films a movie he wrote, a very underappreciated sci-fi action film from 2012 called Dredd, based on Judge Dredd, a.k.a. This is the good movie, not the one with Sylvester Stallone.
Where is the sequel to Dredd?
I know, we need it right now. Just right now. Just right now. We need Dredd.
Dredd 2, please.
That was a fantastic movie.
God, like, a reboot done right, people.
Yes, exactly.
Because the one with Sylvester Stallone, utter crap. But yeah, Dredd was everything that one should have been.
Oh, that movie should have got a freaking sequel, man.
Yeah, where is the sequel?
I know, it's so.
That's always gonna bug me, unless if they decide to make a sequel.
No, like, Carl Urban's up to it, man. Do it.
Just like Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
Yeah. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Make him a reality. I also recently read a script. I did not actually see this. This is a movie that I am now very upset that they did not make. Called A Topiary from Shane Carruth. Now I know Shane Carruth has gotten himself into some trouble recently. But you know what? He made 2 very excellent science fiction movies, Primer and Upstream Color. And A Topiary might be my favorite thing he's done. That he never got to make because Hollywood doesn't know what the fuck is going on. I'm serious.
Oh, man.
And also because of his bad choices, we're probably never going to see this movie, and I'm very disappointed. But you know what? I got to read it at least, so things kind of worked out, in a way.
Mm-hmm. That always sucks.
Yeah. I would recommend reading it or watching Disregarding Henry's videos on it, because it really gets you into it. And I'm like, man, this sounds really good. And I wish they made it. Yeah. It's a sad day. What else? Oh, yes. I guess we'll talk about that thing now. I finally finished the Snyder Cut.
Hallelujah!
Yeah, I know. Everyone's so excited. And I was going to call Jacob and, like, we were going to do what we did the last time I sat down to see this film. He was like, nah, dude, I'm at work. I'm like, ow! So I had to see it by myself. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't like I was complaining about it every fight. Or, well, I was kind of at first. But then after a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back and watch this. And let me tell you, it was fine. But another thing, it did not need to be 4 hours. I'm sorry.
I will agree on that.
Yeah, I was telling Carlton, like, it's better than I basically told Jacob, this is literally the Spider-Man 3 of the DCEU. Because every time I literally start watching this and I'm starting to like it, they'll throw, like, some really dumb shit at you, and you're just completely baffled. Now, no Jazz Peter type of stuff. No, nothing like that. But just some really dumb stuff. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to spoil anything here if you haven't seen the Snyder Cut, which, I mean, you can go watch it if you want. I'm giving it a very unenthusiastic recommendation. But, yeah, this movie is quite odd. You know, there were a couple of moments where I sat through... There were a couple of moments I sat through this and I thought, wow, this movie doesn't need to be 4 hours long. But then there were a couple of moments where I'm like, wow, these characters are actually finally starting to act like themselves. Like, when Superman is, like, standing in the cornfield and he's, like, really bright and he's smiling. I'm like, oh, what is this? Superman? Is that you? Did they finally get it right after 2 movies? Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's finally not the angsty Superman. He feels like Superman.
Yeah. And then Batman's all like, I'm trying to get out of that dark place, which is so vaguely defined, and he's still murdering people. And shooting guns. It's just, ugh. I will say that Cyborg and Flash were probably my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh, they were my favorite parts. Cyborg was their fleshed out.
I mean, say what you want, Joss Whedon, but Ray Fisher, he seems like he's a good actor. I like his acting. He doesn't deserve to get shafted because, he had a bad experience with Joss Whedon.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend him fucking doing it all over Twitter, but, fucking spewing it all over Twitter, but, yeah. But I digress.
But he was really damn good as Cyborg.
Yes, he was. But yeah, it was a Zack Snyder film, I'll put it that way. It's a movie where it could be good, but you get really annoyed by it because of just some of the creative choices he makes.
Yeah, all of the typical Zack Snyder-y stuff that you can't stand.
Yeah, super slow-mo, utterly melodramatic moments, just stuff that's super blown out of proportion that doesn't need to be. I could complain about it all day. But in other words, I will say it is a massive improvement over the last one, but that is not as much of a compliment as I could think. It's only it's better shot, and it's better acted. That's all I can say. And again, it didn't need to be 4 hours. They could have told the story in maybe 2.
Yeah, they could have cut it down to 2 hours. I will agree, didn't need to be 4 hours. There were a lot of scenes that Zack Snyder clearly just added because he wanted to please the fans. The fans were like, give us more, give us more. The Snyder's like, fine. I'll add in some more scenes and we'll make it 4 hours.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, that's another thing I don't like about Zack Snyder. He tends to overextend himself a lot. Which I know isn't entirely a bad thing. Like, there are good movies that are long. Like, Once a Time in America, good movie. New Batman movie's almost going to be 3 hours. That's fine. But it's like, he tends to overextend himself and just put these really weird parts that you don't really need to put in there.
Yeah, like, for me, the whole nightmare sequence, that could have been like a completely different movie of its own.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But I would say it didn't need to be in the Justice League movie, but continue.
I was about to say, as someone who's sick of the evil Superman stories, and this is a guy who's not even that big of a fan of Superman, but, a couple minutes probably. What was I saying? As much as I'm sick of Superman stories, of where he goes evil. I mean, Injustice already did it pretty well, and also Invincible did it pretty well too. You can't really go much else aside from, Superman goes evil because of yada yada. And I find it just kind of undermines his character anyways, because the whole thing about Superman is that, despite the fact he has this godlike power, he still loves us. He loves to help people.
Yeah, that's who Superman is.
Yeah, it's like Batman says in Batman Hush, I think. He says, I know, because he's like, I know he can slap me to the ground, but I know he's not going to do it. Because deep down, Clark's a good person. And deep down, I'm not. It's like, people just don't get this. And again, I'm not even a big Superman guy. But, I respect that the character, I respect that about his character, though.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
But yeah, I mean, my complaining about Superman aside. I still have issues with Zack Snyder's Batman. I mean, I think the chemistry between Ben Affleck and Jeremy Irons is quite good. But aside from that, there are things I just didn't like. He's just straight up murdering people again. I know, they're like, oh, but it's parademons! Yeah, Batman doesn't kill anybody, bro.
Yeah. Why Snyder?
It's just, if it were up to me, I would have fired him and told him to leave. But, yeah. I would have fired him and told him, look, go make your own superhero movies, because you just stop. You're wanting Batman to get ass raped in prison? Like, get the fuck out of here. You're fired.
He pitched you this idea, like, how about we make Batman the Punisher of the DCEU?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it makes no sense. But I digress. That's for another time. You know, I do hope for the day when we talk about Batman v Superman, I could just go off on that movie.
Oh, I'll just let you take the grounds.
Oh man, I remember when I first saw it. I was with one of my girlfriends at the time. I was dating someone, and we saw it. And even then, I got pissed off. I'm all like, "Man, Batman's killing people. What is this?"
No, I remember when I first saw it, and I asked my mom, "What did you think about it?" And she was like, "It was all right. Could have been better." And that's a rare thing that she usually says. And I'm like, "Wow, that's saying a lot." And I was underwhelmed as well. At the time, I was mixed on it. But after, it's a film that I dislike more when I rewatch it more. Like, ugh.
Oh man. My man. Zack Snyder, man. I mean, again, it's like, I don't know why it's not that I don't want him to see his vision through. Like, that's fine. I support artists and whatnot. But the thing is, the stuff he already put out, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It's just not. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna lay it thick for everybody. It wasn't good. And for those out there who think that Joss Whedon single-handedly destroyed the DCEU, oh no, my friends. It was fucked from the moment that The Man of Steel came out. Facts.
And Batman v Superman just sealed the deal.
Yeah. Just studio incompetence, a completely pretentious garbage movie, I have to say. From a person who clearly does not understand these characters, and then when he gets called out on it, doubles down on his dumb decisions. So, there you go. There's the DCEU for you.
Oh boy. Yeah. When we get to Batman v Superman, I'll just let you take the ground stage because Britton clearly dislikes this movie way more than me, and I really dislike Batman v Superman.
Oh, I can't stand Batman v Superman. Man. Alright, so we should probably wrap up here. What movie should we pick? Oh, man. You know what? I know I said I wanted to take a break from superhero movies for a little bit, but you know what? I kind of feel like talking about Black Panther next week. What do you think?
Yeah, I was hoping we'd talk about Black Panther.
Yeah. And, you know, it won't be a huge marathon like Spider-Man, but we're going to break our little break, and we're going to talk about Black Panther. How's that?
Yeah, you know what? I'm really excited to talk about Black Panther, even though I'm still burnt out from our Spider-Man-a-thon. It's very suitable to talk about Black Panther, so I'm pumped. Yeah,
it was either that or Malcolm X, and I was like, I haven't seen Malcolm X in a while, and Black Panther's still fresher in my memory, so we'll talk about Black Panther. How's that?
Awesome.
All right. Though, hey, you know, I wouldn't mind talking about Malcolm X either, but, you know, I don't know if we'll get to that. But, you know what? I want to talk about Black Panther. So, Jacob, you're good with that?
Oh, I'm down. Totally.
Okay, well, we're talking about Black Panther next week. I'm excited because Black Panther, I think, is one of the better MCU movies.
Indeed.
Actually, one of the
couldn't
best.
Agree more.
I might even dare say it's one of the best.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
But we'll wait to talk about it next week. But yes, this has been Brit and Jake Go to the Movies. I'm Britton.
I'm Jacob.
And we do it for the love of the movies. At least for most of the time.
Yes, we do.
Alright, see you guys later, everyone.